Welcome to Unlearning with me, Skumbuzo Jwaha, where each week we discuss a social issue through the lens of a book I've read that week. This week we're filming from Exclusive Books Hyde Park once again, a great venue, and all of the books that we read on this show are available at the store. This week, the book that I read is The Course of Love by Elaine de Botton. So we're going to be discussing love and relationships, and this book goes into speaking about that. Elaine de Botton's thesis, his whole idea, is that romanticism has killed love. So it's important to distinguish between romanticism and being a romantic. So romanticism, according to Elaine de Botton's theory, is what replaced the former regime of relationships that people were forced to go into for many reasons, whether it was for financial security, whether arranged marriages, and so forth. And romanticism was a pushback against that to suggest that people should stay in relationships with who it is that they fall in love with, therefore a choice. And his thesis is that because romanticism replaced the former regime where people were forced into relationships for necessity, romanticism hasn't received the criticism that is due to it, and is a problem towards modern-day love. So, all of us have been influenced by romanticism to some extent, even the most conservative amongst us, because we live in a society where romanticism has been shown to us through movies, series, the books we read, and various other media. It's the idea that there is someone out there who is perfectly suited to you, and that one day when you meet them, everything will fall into place and you will feel perfectly understood. Now, this idea of romanticism, to use a more modern term, would be quite toxic to the idea of love, according to Elaine de Botton. And what he suggests is that when we're looking for that perfect person who will fall into place and everything will meld together and we'll feel perfectly understood, what we're looking for is not actually love. What we're looking for is familiarity. And what familiarity is someone who we relatively identify with from our previous experiences of love and relationships. And most of those are caked into our understanding of love when we were children. But our needs of love when we were children are not suitable to the needs we have in relationships and the needs we have for love as adults. And that's why it's important to unlearn romanticism. So, it's easy to say unlearn romanticism, but how do you do that effectively? So, a tool, as suggested by Elaine de Botton, is to recognize that we are all complex people who are, to a certain extent, very difficult to live with. Now, you're by yourself and are with yourself 24/7, and there is no way for you not to be with yourself. So it's easy to assume that perhaps I'm someone who's easy to live with, someone who's easy to love. But, as suggested by Elaine de Botton, is that you should recognize that it's difficult to live with even yourself, and then extend that empathy towards other people. To suggest, even though I might fall in love with someone and consider them perfect during the honeymoon phase, eventually I'm going to see the difficult aspects of this person. And what happens in modern day relationships, unfortunately, is that after the initial honeymoon phase feelings ebb away, people then begin to experience the difficulty of the other person and then choose to leave. So he suggests what we're actually attracted to what we think is love is not really love. It's simply the beginning stages of a relationship, and we define that as love. Real love is actually when you decide to choose to remain with a person after you discover their difficulty and do the work of learning each other over a period of time. That is where real love begins. Not the initial honeymoon phase where the butterflies in your stomach and there's nothing wrong that the person can do in your eyes and you defend them no matter what it is that they do. True love, real love, begins at the moments when it is difficult and you continue to choose the person. So, I hear someone out there probably asking, is Elaine de Botton suggesting that you should remain in a toxic relationship because that is what love is? So, no. What he is simply suggesting is that what we need to do is unlearn romanticism and thinking of love as merely the initial stages of what a relationship is, which is simply the infatuation. Instead, what we need to develop is a healthy understanding of love that extends empathy to other people that we have for ourselves. And that is understanding that we're all complex human beings that are difficult to live with, and therefore others are too. And in the context of a relationship, it is worth remaining if you understand that. It's not to say stay with someone who cheats on you multiple times, or stay with someone who is abusive towards you emotionally or physically. That is clearly wrong and you need to leave. But unlearning the romanticism that has been the idea of what love is, that there is someone out there who is perfect for you, perfectly suited, someone with whom everything is going to be easy and flow, is a toxic understanding of what real love is.